I can understand why Brett's wound up here because, like, the
Mhm.
biggest factor of the build that I think everyone remembers, and I'm sure you got good memories of, Matt, is like obviously the Mania 12 hype video. And Brett says it, I think, in Wrestling with Shadows, doesn't it? Like, Shawn looks like this young, fit guy
Yes.
who's doing like upside down press ups and beating up
Run up
27
stadiums.
like lucha guys, and then Brett's like gingerly jogging in the ice, getting
Getting
put in
stretched by
submission
Stu.
holds by his 90-year-old dad. Like,
Yeah.
like, it's all subliminal, but it's like I definitely felt it at the time. Shawn is the young, cool one who's going to take over, and Brett's this Al Fossil who needs to fuck off, which is mad because 2 years before I thought Brett was the coolest wrestler in the world. Like, and it's
Yeah.
like he's aged like 10 years in this build up to Mania '96. Like, they proper half put him out to pasture, don't they, Matt? And it's like
Yeah.
really telegraph what's coming here. I mean, I love the videos and they were like the music behind them that I can kind of like
Boss.
dun-dun-dun. I can kind of hear it in my head now as we like go through it. There's loads of memorable moments in there, some good Brett lines in that as well, some good Shawn lines in as well. But that's the takeaway, isn't it? That like the young cool upstarts coming to put the old guy out of pasture basically and put him down.
He says that on shoot interviews as well, so it always lingered with him, that build. And even in the video itself, like you said, he references Randy Savage, who's in WCW, doesn't he?
I
Saying like
love
2
that.
years
That was
ago,
great.
I was the guy knocking on Randy Savage's door and I surpassed
Yeah.
him and I'm better than him now. And then he goes,
Yeah.
now Shawn's behind me looking to knock at my door, but I ain't ready to leave yet. What a line that is.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's fucking like, but always love, and I always say, it's been done to death that the real sports builds, and I'm not really a fan,
Mm,
but when they're done sporadically, they're
mm.
fucking brilliant. And this was one of the times where it is, like as you say, the upside down press ups. He looks
Oh,
like
always remember
the
that.
hardest man like in the world, doesn't he? Like it's El Dandy. I'm sure one of the guys is El Dandy. We
I
beat up
don't
in the
think it.
ring. Is it
Don't
not?
think it is, but
I'm
I'm not
sure it is.
sure. Yeah, I think
It's
it's guys from Jose Lothario. I
Oh,
just
is
assumed
it?
it was random lucha guys who just wear in the mask. So like, who knows who it actually was?
Yeah,
But
boy, it's
yeah, he's like, I love
that's
that bit where he head scissors them both, and Jose Lothario has to calm him down because he's gonna go and beat them up even more. He's like a rabid animal ready to kill Brett.
but Bret, as you
But
say, Bret literally is like he's not even jogging, he's briskly walking on that ice because he falls off that mountain, and then he's getting stretched by Stu, and he's swimming. He's not even doing like proper like Michael Phelps stuff. He's just like he's just
allegedly
like
swim.
literally
Allegedly.
floating. He's just floating along. But JP, what would when Stu's stretching Bret training him? How would he sound, mate? How would he sound?
Yeah, yeah, beat you up, fucking useless kid. The upside down press ups. Like, that's what I did think to myself. Shawn wouldn't have pissed on those lucha lads if they were on fire. Bro, like, he
100%.
really wouldn't have at that point in time. As soon as he's done that, he's like, right, I'm fucking off. I'm not
Yeah.
having not fucking even talking to me. You're getting a shitty arm drag off me, and that's it.
Oh.
And I'm doing a tilt world backbreaker, and that's me fucking done it, lads. It's funny to look back on it as well.
Yeah.
Just
Mm.
yeah, it's a good laugh looking at that promo video.
But did you watch it, Benno? Did you see the 11-minute one on YouTube where he's on some talk show, Bret, at the end of it? Did you see that bit?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's
No, what's that?
basically just like foreshadowing, like, he basically says, if I lose this Iron Man match, I might as well retire and hang the boots up. That's what he says on
Oh.
it. Yeah, literally being dead
Or
serious.
make
like,
Lonesome Dove, one of the two.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
one of the two. One of the two. Any thoughts on this, Gareth? It's also I should mention as well. It's also our introduction to Jose Lothario. Like these clips
Oh,
building up to WrestleMania 12. It's like, look who we've got out of storage. Hans Molman, but in human form. He's going to be Shawn Michaels' manager, and he's going to. Didn't you know he's his former trainer, and he's going to get him ready for WrestleMania 12, and yet somehow sticks around like a bad smell for the rest of the year. Like, you think with all the tantrums Shawn Michaels pulls, like, wouldn't you think that'd be like top of the list? Like, yeah, it's cool you brought the trainer back for WrestleMania, but like, can we get rid of him now? Like,
Yeah.
why is he like this
He
ghost
should have
who's
gone after
constantly
Mania.
standing behind him?
We'll
yeah.
Like,
talk more. He should have.
Oh,
if Vince takes 20% of Shawn's cool factor, Hans Molman takes another like 15 at least off him, Gareth.
Yeah. And I think this is like one of the weird things from the time, because as much as like obviously I'm like a Bret guy, a lot of the Bret Shawn stuff comes like retrospectively, and I think it's got to be said that at this point, been late teens kind of thing as well. Like you were pro Bret. Sorry, you were pro Shawn, like kind of thing. Like you wanted to see this guy who could actually work and was like clearly was a bit more like modern in his head and his thinking and stuff like that, and things coming through. Given the alternative of your fucking, like you say, your Duke Droses and your people, your TL Hoppers and things of this world and stuff like that, you'd have all these characters or your relics, like your whatever your even coming out of like things like your natural disasters and things like that. Shawn Michaels, while he never totally 100% resonated with me, he was still somebody that you're like, oh well, I'd rather see him on my telly than all these other people because he's got something about him kind of thing from that point of view. And this always just felt odd to me. Like, so you're pushing him as this new leader of the new generation, young guy who's a bit hip, he's a bit cool and things. Oh, and here you go, he's this old cunt, like kind of thing. Like he was gonna walk around next to him for the whole year and make him look like he's trying to be the coolest man in the world, but then you've got this old fucker next to him. It just never fit at all. And like you say, for a one-off, maybe just even for this training video, he doesn't even need to go to WrestleMania with him. He could just be there, like doing this video
front row, or
with
just
him.
sat in the front row or something.
That's it. Give him a spot. Give him a spot at Mania or something like that. He's just hanging around like a fucking bad smell for the rest of the year. And okay, gives us a great.
I was going to say, Gareth,
the end
it gives us one of the best of all time. To be fair to him,
it's almost worth it for that, but it totally just rubs up the wrong way with the Shawn Michaels character as a whole. Like, but I don't know. It's weird, but.
He's only 62, Gareth, which would make him 2 years younger than Sting is present day. Sting who just wrestled at Wembley.
2 years
2 years ago, he was that old. Fucked up, innit? Time.
Hard paper round as well for him, innit? And it's not like he's a charisma machine either. It's not like he's good at promos or anything else. Just looking at him and just going, "Why is this bloke?" He's not like a legend in any way.
Oh, they had to explain who he was every week. And they could tell it was a Jim Cornetteism, like just fucking give it a load. Yeah, he's a local legend. Blah blah. Vince pretending he'd ever heard of him before. It's just like it's rough. Oh, but yeah, that's our build to Mania 12, and I'm guessing out of the lot of us, it's only me and Gareth who've seen the Iron Man match in full. Yeah. I went from I'll watch the finish to I'll watch the overtime bit to go on then mate, go on Steph, we'll watch the match to should we watch the whole of WrestleMania 12, and that's how I spent my Friday this week.
I love that. I love
tell
that.
you what, Roddy Piper Goldust cracker Hollywood Backlot Brawl. That is like, I know Moxley takes a lot of inflation from other people, Anita being chief among them, but Roddy Piper in that match, like you could transport Moxley and put him in that role and he'd fit, maybe with slightly less homophobia, hopefully. But like the Goldust and Piper match from Mania 12 was fucking incredible. I know you said you might go back and watch that at some point, Gareth. That really stuck out for me from probably my one of my favorite Manias, but not for reasons of the main event. Do you remember much about the Mania itself, Gareth? Maybe before we get into the show itself, like I always say, this is always I've told the story a million times on the podcast that we were again couldn't wait, weren't convinced 100% Shawn was gonna win the title. Excited to watch it. It was somebody reminded me on the Discord. It was the summer holidays as well, which explains why. Like me and our Peter got up like Monday morning, ready to watch it, and my dad had fell asleep in front of the telly and forgot to tape it for us, so we had to sit there all day on this Monday in the school holidays, waiting for the Sky Sports replay at 3 p.m. At which point the replay had adverts in, and while it did show the Hollywood Backlot Brawl, which was supposed to be edited out, and instead edited out Savio Vega versus the Ringmaster, or I think he was Stone Cold Steve Austin. At this point, it did also show the Iron Man match in full, with ad breaks all the way through. So the hour match became an hour and a half match, which might again inform some of my takes on it. But strangely, I've still got a nostalgia for it. Strangely, I've still got a strong feeling towards it, and it's definitely a nice memory, even with the pain that came on there on that Monday after WrestleMania. But yeah, any memories of it, of watching it at the time, Gareth, or like did you watch any more of it than the Iron Man match itself?
No, I mean this time around, I just watched the Iron Man match. Like, so obviously that was the main chunk of the show, like watching that one back. But there's just the things there that just when you just think about it, you think of the Piper Goldust match. This is the Triple H Warrior as well, isn't it?
Yeah, we watched that. That was fun.
Jim, School, and Paul there, like
on that show.
Largest reaction all night was for Warrior, 100%. Like they were ready. We were ready for him again, and he might as well have been like he might have broken up a cryogenic chamber here and dusted off this wrestler from 20 years ago. It was like 4, wasn't it, or 3 since he left. But he couldn't be more removed, could he, from like the where we were in now to where we were like even just 3 years before. But yeah, that wouldn't go very well. I think he was gone like 2.5 months later, wasn't he? But oh well.
But this isn't a WrestleMania
Classic
that like
Jim.
it's not a WrestleMania that I ever like. I never had it. I never bought it. I never taped like when I watched. I think I watched it when I watched it, and then I never had it on like taped off telly on VHS. So it was never a thing that I went back to and watched again. I think like I only watched it for the second time in my life about 5 years ago or something when I was just going through WrestleManias on the network again or something like that. So it's for me, it's not one that I've got like massive nostalgia for, or it's not one that I've got this kind of, like, I feel like I've got this sort of like mental association with it or something like that. When I think WrestleMania 12, I just think Iron Man match. And then again, I've watched it in full now, and it's one of those where it's like, we joke about it and stuff, and it been like, shit and stuff like that. But this is like literally only the third time that I've ever watched it in my life, because why would I have ever, other than when I first got the network or when I was doing that run kind of thing of going through the manias a few years ago, like, why would you? You're never going to throw it. You're never just going to sit there. So I tell you what I want to watch. I want to watch the Bret and Shawn Iron Man match. Like, you never think that. So it was quite interesting to me, because in my mind, I was just thinking like shit, boring, dull, kind of like, but I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was going to hate it. I'll say that, while I'm not going to turn around and say, Bret talks about it as been like a masterpiece and all this. And obviously it's like one of these matches that gets held up has been like shown in the performance center and all this and all this stuff. Like, while you can't see it at that end, there was enough in there that I got enjoyment out of it over the 60 minutes that I watched it. But I wouldn't describe, star rating like 3.5 for me kind of thing. But like,
it shouldn't be. It's Sean Bret at Mania, isn't it? That's the thing. But it's funny because, like, as a kid watching it, we were just frustrated because we had to sit there for an hour and a half with adverts because we didn't care about the match. We just wanted Sean to win, and it was torture waiting 90 minutes to find. And then obviously there's the overtime and all that as well, which we can go through, that made it even more painful. So again, I've got that emotion tied to me. But I think I do remember watching it thinking like, because the type of wrestling they're doing, they're doing limb work and it's very slowed down. And I remember watching as a kid going like, almost like this was a type of wrestling that like adults maybe enjoyed, or this was a type of wrestling that I wasn't used to watching, but like, more like, I don't know, like, I don't want to say more intellectual people, or like just like, more hardcore fans, or maybe I was just picturing Gareth in my head as a 12-year-old. I was thinking like Gareth was the adult I was picturing in my head that this would work for, but for us as kids, we just found really boring. So it kind of works in that way. And it is, a lot of people said that on the Discord. It's like, it is mainly the first half an hour we all complain about, because the first half an hour, like, it becomes really immediately obviously apparent they're not doing any falls, because they've built the other problem is they built this up of who's going to get the most falls. Oh, this is an amazing this Iron Man match where there's going to be all these pins and submissions, and it's whoever gets the most wins. And it's ballsy, obviously, them doing it, and there's no one else who could have done it other than Shawn and Bret. I think they've both said that about each other as well. They wouldn't have want to been in that situation with anyone else. But of course, they get in there and they have to grab holds and they have to slow down. And there comes a point in that first half where the crowd, like, if this was a modern crowd, they'd turned on it entirely, because they half turn on it. They start booing kickouts. They start like, the silence is fucking deadly by like minute 25. It's just because I watched the whole show, the quietest it is all night, including the cinematic elements of the Bollywood Battle of Brawl. That got a louder reaction than a lot of the things that happen in ring. And you can tell maybe at that half-hour point they do take the hint a little bit. All right, we just got to go for it here. We've got to do some shit. We actually got to do things, and they seem to turn the volume up a little bit in that second half. But I do think it earned a lot of those criticisms, because like, you can't help but notice the crowd turning on it. You can't help but notice that like everyone, people there aren't stupid. People have figured it out. Oh yeah, they're going to go on out, and there's going to be no falls here. I think that gets worked out very quickly. Master, if that's what you're going to add.
No, I was gonna say it's one of them classics where you can hear the fans in the building, and I don't mean the crowd, I mean the aircon fans. It's that silence, isn't it? Where it's like genuinely, it's like you're right, Benno. It's metal, but then I always say the spot with the timekeeper for me is an all-timer.
All-timer.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
It takes his fucking head off.
Yeah, the noise. It's the noise of it, isn't it? It's unbelievable stuff. And
that woke me up when I went this time. I was like, okay, yeah, here we go. I feel it's bad that Bret doesn't check on him in it. You'd think Bret would at least check on him, or like Shawn would. Like no one just leaves him to dead.
I was going to ask that actually. I was like, how close were you two to falling asleep during this? Because he would have been like, I would have been gone. Like current state, there's no way I could have gone anything more. Like 20 minutes.
Got me on my phone. I've got to admit, I did drift off at one point. I think to be fair, the 20-minute mark, I think I went to shop to get Steph some time for like 5 minutes. I didn't miss it.
Thought to be shop that over fucking hell.
What did I miss? Fuck all.
I'm sure you mentioned this before, but they don't try for any pins, do they? They don't actually try for any pins. It's not like you've got close near falls or anything else. Like they're not actively trying for it. So it's like, well, where's the fucking drama?
Does that tie in, JP, that they didn't want to, like, they only wanted to do the job once on the night? Like, it's not like Rock and Triple H years later where, like, it's 6-5. Who's asked how many times you get beat? It's an Iron Man match. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Am I going to have to step in here and do some Iron Man defense? I definitely didn't think that I was going to be having to like play this part here, but maybe I might be. I quite like the whole bit at the start where it was all like Shawn and his Mexican style wrestling, but he didn't come out and do Mexican style wrestling, and he was much more grappling, and like he was sort of surprisingly out grappling Bret early on with like the side headlock and things like that. Like I thought that was a nice little quirk at the start of the match there that they'd like set it up, and you'd seen Shawn working this style. I mean, props to Bret after like 25 minutes where like Shawn fires him shoulder first into the buckle, and then Shawn's like working his shoulder with the shoulder breaker, double axe handle, hammerlock body slam, hammerlock DDT, like armbar. Bret is selling the shit out of it. I was just like, oh, I mean, fucking really, you were down fucking the shop at this point, like buying some fizzy pop. But I was there, like, I was popping in my living room there for Bret selling at this point. Like, there's
the good thing is it led somewhere.
I love this. I love it.
I've turned Gareth into an Iron Man.
But also, isn't it the story with the entrance? Why? Because the Owen Hart match that he does like a miniature version. It's like a dry run, isn't it? The In Your House, where it's just off the top of the house, and he goes down. Whereas this one, obviously, I think wasn't it? He was up there for so long, he did a slash up there. But then I just thought, well, he just would do anyway. Why? Because he's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Like, what can I leave up here? I know I'll leave a big fucking turd or something along those lines, because that's just how I roll. Going down there, then in his kecks as well at the same time.
That obviously I loved. Like I mean,
the entrance is brilliant.
Things you got to remember: the entrance and the finish. That's kind of the things you got to remember. And like that is one of the all-time, like that clip of Shawn first, like Jose Lothario coming out first. There's again heart in mouth moments as a kid. Like, is he not here? What's going on? I was believing Jerry Lawler that he'd
imagine just to get Jose up there on the fucking zip wire as well, following him.
Starting up and getting onto the first rope to point into the corner. Yeah. Like he struggles to get up there, doesn't he? And then the spotlight and Shawn dancing on top.
The dancing boss that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, and he lands in the crowd. It's probably in fact it's not where he's supposed to land. But meat and potatoes there for Gareth. You can join the Iron Man match truthers. I'm sure they got a forum or a Discord somewhere, Gareth. You'll find some.
He's going to start one now.
I'm not going that far. I just wasn't going to the shop.
Gareth fell in.
There's a cool thing though. Like one thing that I love in this that's always stood out in my mind is where Shawn gets backdropped over the corner and the cameraman turns away to like avoid it. So then you get the like visual of Shawn going over the corner and the cameraman like pulls away, and then like it just really just creates this like just in the moment, like I don't know, it just makes that just feel a bit more like real and less produced or something like that. And it's just like a cracking, like just a little bump and the way that the camera worked. Again, that would never fucking happen now. They would just never do something like that at all. And then Bret gets to work on his back. Like, good body part at the end of that.
There's a spot as well, isn't he? This is why, like you say, all the heat they had or simmering tension, they were too pros each other, because Michaels does a crossbody off the top to the floor, doesn't he? And Bret saves him going into the barricade big time. Right. Yeah. I always remember that. I thought proper professionalism there from Bret. Expect nothing less, Gareth, do you? Like,
but he regretted it though, didn't he? About a year later. Fucking
it's funny because like they've got chemistry, definitely, because like you can see it's just in the body movements and stuff. Like they can't think of a way to put it other than they kind of fit together really well. Every movement works, you know what I mean? Like they both sell really well, they both execute really well, and everything just looks great. Everything they do throughout the hour of this and every other match they ever has. But that was the thing someone said on the Discord. Did Bret and Shawn ever have a great match? Like they had a great rivalry, kind of, but off screen. There's a lot.
Yours, my best match of them, I think.
Fight into, but
I think it is.
Yeah, and then that's got the finish, hasn't it?
That's
like
what I mean.
It doesn't really exist, does it? Like the Bret and Shawn match. A lot of people have pointed to this, but like, you know, yeah. Even though there's obviously things there for Gareth, even for you, Gareth, you're going 3.5, which isn't much for Shawn and Bret in the WrestleMania main event, is it? Like, it's just there should be something, shouldn't there? There should be a SummerSlam one year, or there should be something we all point to as the Bret. And like we'd look like, imagine, like, it sounds right on paper that we do a Bret versus Shawn mixtape one day, but reality is we wouldn't, would we? Because the material isn't there.
And you could probably say the same about Shawn Michaels for 1996. It's not just a Bret problem.
In a minute. Anyway, we'll get around to that. So the bits that you guys have seen is obviously the finish we have here, which is on like the shortened version of it, which is Shawn jumping 2-footed. We assume going for a drop kick. It's one of those ones, that one that was always we'd slow down as a kid. Like, what was he even going for? Like, why is he just dive into the sharpshooter? I think that's well done. Like the sharpshooter being at the end, and I remember like again, heart sinking as it went on. It was like, oh fuck, what's he gonna do? How is he gonna get out this? There's no way there's gonna be enough time for him to get anything, which bleeds us into like the bell ringing, and then we get the whole thing with Gorilla Monsoon to tell it that there must be a winner. Bret's brilliant here as he kind of storms off, and is entirely justified, by the way. I think that's one of the lines I think Piper was supposed to say about there must be a winner. I think he kind of half says it at one point. So there is a nugget of that there. But as a babyface, Bret is entirely just, hang on, I didn't win, but like that's not how this works. We're going to go back and we're going to do overtime. So he goes back all pissed off, and then we get the couple of minutes extra, and Shawn finally wins. But yeah, just it all feels a little bit. It's probably not a great start to this title run in general, because there's that hanging fruit of, well, hang on, did he really beat Bret? Because it wasn't in the 60 minutes. I remember feeling even that as a kid. I think we probably just relieved he won in general, but it was like, yeah, didn't feel totally right. Bret felt justified storming off, and of course there's the post match we can get into as well. But yeah, it just takes the shine off things a little bit. I think them doing it this way, it kind of protects Bret, I suppose, and sets up for a rematch we're gonna get in future. But yeah, probably not the strongest way to put over your new top babyface.
No, not at all. And a draw's a draw. No one likes draws, but they happen, and it means that they're still a viable result, aren't they? I was watching this, and I was like, when I saw the ending of it, and I was like, obviously completely pro Bret, but saw that and just like, yeah, you're completely fucking justified, mate. You've been screwed over by Monsoon here, haven't you? Like in classic Gorilla Monsoon fashion. It just feels like he's fucking making it up on the fly. And it is one of these. I never liked Gorilla Monsoon in the commissioner role, I have to say. Like, you get why he's there, and I know for everything else, like all the love that they've got for him and everything else.
Gino,
I think as the character, I just never liked him, and I think this was just like the kind of the nail in the coffin of it as well. Like,
yeah.
I like the finish though. I love the first switching music where Bret half kind of gets up before him, or you think he's going to, and he sells it. Vince puts it over that he doesn't get enough of it, and it doesn't hit all of it, and it's really good. And then obviously he gets to his feet, bang, 1, 2, 3. But we're all saying we wanted Jose Referio to fuck off after WrestleMania 12. I think Shawn Michaels did, because he fucks him right out that ring, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like it's
Flag.
like I said, we got longer on the match itself than I thought we would. The post match, fuck, it might need its own podcast. Like, needs a psychological evaluation. Like this scene afterwards, because like again, when I was 12, Shawn Michaels cries into the belt, and in my head, it's like the distinctive. This is what a babyface looks like when he wins the big one, WrestleMania moment. You know, he's covered in sweat, he's exhausted, but he's got this belt that he's worked for his entire career. But you watch this as an adult, and it's like from the start to the end, it's like he's not letting Ale give him the belt because he wants Bret out of his fucking ring, which you can see him mouth. He also Jose Lothario as the cheek to get in the ring. He wants that fucker out of the ring as well. And the piece de resistance is once he finally gets his way and the ring is clear, he makes Ale Hebner, who's exhausted himself because he's just worked for 65 minutes, put the belt on him. And Ale's struggling because he's fucking knackered and he can't get it on.
Sweaty.
And Shawn just fucking literally shoves him away. Like, even as a kid, I think I remember thinking that, going, oh, that was a bit mean. Why would he do that? Why would this lovely Shawn Michaels, who's this great babyface, do this to Ale Hebner of all people? I mean, he eventually lets Jose Lothario get in the ring, and he goes around the ring like doing platitudes with like the Hart family and stuff. Like, and you can tell even Stu through gritted teeth gives him a little bit of a handshake. Bret's son Blade gives him a handshake as well. But it's like you watch this as an adult, what a performance! Like it's just what a cunt. Like, just enjoy your big moments here. Enjoy the fact you're the top guy now. Like, why'd you have to be horrible to everyone? Like,
his face as well when he shoves like Earl Hebner out of the way, like his face is like
so
you're the biggest piece of shit in the world. As he's like is written all over his face as he's like shoving Earl Hebner out of the way because of that. Like it's just the epitome of the guy, like, isn't it? It's just totally like it's you know, you put in this spot at WrestleMania, you getting the world title in this situation, and you just can't. The mask falls, kind of thing. Like you just can't hide who he is, sort of. You know, it just the complete fucking bellend that he is just totally just comes out for everyone to see. And you know, obviously, it's something that resonated with Bret, isn't it? It's one of the things that really sort of stuck in his throat was the "get out of my fucking ring" kind of. You know, at the end there, he always brings it up. You know, it was always something that he like referenced over the years, and like you're just like, yeah, you fucking absolute cock. Like he's just like handed you the fucking keys to the kingdom here, basically, and put you over like good and proper in a decent way, and you just got no fucking respect for it at all. Like just absolute grade A cunt. Like
it's tough to defend this one. I can't. Did you watch the post match, Matt?
Yeah, I'll say there. Gareth said it there. Like I won't be, I won't go that harsh probably, but yeah, it was a bad scene. It was just, as you say, just the. I know it is about him and kind of thing, but you know, I think Bret says as well, Gareth, doesn't he, that like most of this was a part of like he wanted to come back a year later, but that wasn't a part where he told him to fuck off out the ring, and that's why it stayed with him type thing, because the whole him storming off and all that was going to play into when he come back to get the rematch, but I think he overstepped the mark with that. But yeah, just no need for it, was the
because Bret does the good, like when they're like when Finkel's announcing like this match has been ordered to continue under sudden death rules, and Bret's in the aisle with the belt, and he does a big why
like,
and it's so like, and that would play in, doesn't it, for the thing in the future, like stuff like that. Great, perfect. But then Shawn, you don't have to be a fucking bellend about it.
Yeah, it's one of them. Like the only half defense I can give is like there's definitely like Bret does get painted purer than pure in it, and I think Bret is right to get out of Shawn's way. But at the same time, it's kind of like he's not doing it for like nice reasons. He's doing I'll let you fucking sink yourself. There's no like, you know, I'll stick around and I'll help out and keep, you know, we'll all keep the company kind of going together. I think that's a bit where like when you read like Shawn's taking it, that's like his business, and he's a bit annoyed that like again they do the overtime and it's not as straightforward as him beating Bret. There has to be, you know, an extra wrinkle to it that makes Bret again look purer than pure. But he doesn't help himself, does he? When he reacts the way he does and he deals with the way he does, it's you can edit it down, and he did over the years. I was propaganded into like, oh, you know, the boyhood dream has come true. What a lovely emotional moment it is, and stuff like that. And he still managed to pull it off. But yeah, all of this is under the seams, and it's all it's all very very unseemly, and we
But
we go from
sorry, Benno. Just one other thing was like you referenced there about like the credibility of the win with it being in overtime and stuff. Like to me, like when I watched it back like yesterday or whatever, it just felt like a Money in the Bank cash-in or something. That's what it almost felt like, kind of in the way it's delivered. So it didn't like, you know, sometimes you just see that and it just doesn't feel like that doesn't feel like a proper title win because that's just come at the depth in that way, and it kind of had that feel to it for
gives you like a
me.
pit in your stomach. I felt that as a kid, like he hasn't really beat him. He hasn't really done it. It's not 100. It's like a 90% win. You know what I mean? It's 100%. You just can't, shake that feeling. And maybe that plays into Shawn's reaction. But they paint him up nice, JP, on the after Mania 12. They have him come out. He cuts his new champion promo and his. That's what I should have got. That hat that said something like WWF champion at the date.
The
of
worst
WrestleMania.
ever. Fucking
If it was modern day and he was Osprey, he'd get it tattooed on his arm, but instead, like, I suppose a hat's not that bad when you compare it to what some wrestlers are doing now.
But he's wearing like all fucking glistening gear, and he's got like a white baseball cap that, frankly, your granddad would wear and fall asleep watching the fucking telly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did you buy them at Blackpool? It just looks like a hat off the front of Blackpool, lad, or something like that you get
on the pier.